Hmm.
So if you're in a good school district, then it's going to hold its value, and and you're going to see that appreciation.
My name is Kevin McIntosh, and this is the Closing Table, where we talk to experts about their experience in real estate all across the country. Let's go. Welcome back to the Closing Table. I am your host. I go by the name of Kevin C. McIntosh. And on this episode, of course, we will be speaking with very successful real estate agent, Victoria Valle. How you doing, Victoria?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Did I land your last name? Did I
No,
land it?
real close. Valle.
Valle, Victoria Valle. Let's put some respect on that. How you doing, Victoria?
Or otherwise, I can also go by Vicky Vale for those that are like my age and would know Batman. So,
Yes, yes. We just
I'll
learned
take
that lesson here also. Appreciate you for taking time out of your very busy schedule, Victoria, and being here on the Closing Table. There's a few things that I want to discuss with you, but let's have a little fun prior to that, right? I got an icebreaker for us just to get to know you a little bit. It's called Fill in the Blank. Got a couple of sentences all related to real estate, but they are incomplete. So there's some blanks there. I just need you to fill those in with whatever context you feel makes sense.
okay.
Cool? All right, let's start. First sentence. The most important thing to remember when selling a property is blank.
Okay, so I'm going to go with the first thing that comes to my mind, that get rid of anything smaller than the size of a football.
Mm, that's new. Okay. Okay. All right, let's keep it moving. The biggest challenge in the real estate industry is blank.
Biggest challenge. I'm going to say the low inventory and
Mm,
client expectations.
that's a good one. That's a good one. The most rewarding part of owning a property is blank.
That it's yours. You have that feeling of security.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree with that. Lastly, the best advice I ever received about real estate is blank.
That it's not easy.
That's a fact. That is a fact. I love it. Couldn't be more truthful right there. Thank you, Victoria, for playing that game with us, just breaking the ice a little bit more. But let's dig into who you are a little bit more. In 60 seconds or less, can you tell us who is Victoria outside of real estate?
I love real estate, so it is my hobby as well. I am a all-time winner of Connect Four, so I
Okay.
challenge anyone. My favorite song is Michael Jackson, "Man in the Mirror," and I am a
Mm,
big believer, if you want to make a change, you got to start with yourself, and I do that with leading and myself. I have two children. They are my pride and
okay.
joy. They're 28 and
Beautiful.
23. My son now works with me, and we love to travel. So if we're not working, we're traveling.
Nice. How was it working with your son?
It's actually was a little challenging. He's only been on the team for about a year.
Okay.
The first 6 months were very challenging. And I'm really big into coaches in different areas of life. And so the two of us got a coach and helped us work
Mm.
through communication. And it's been just a world changer for us. And it's really good now.
Do you think you think it's more challenging because he's just new in general to the industry or because he's your son?
I think it is a combination of both. And then
Hmm.
the us having paradigms or different things from our past,
Got
and
you.
then how we perceive things, or expectations and, different things in that nature.
All right. All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Let's get into a little bit of the nitty gritty right now. Before we even get too deep, let's just take a moment to describe your current market for the people, just to paint that picture, starting off geographically and then give any other details for the market you serve.
I'm located in Toledo, Northwest Ohio area. I specialize more in anything west of 475, which will be our Sylvania, Holland, Perrysburg, Anthony Wayne. I'm also licensed in Michigan, so I go into Michigan and some of the larger properties. We do specialize in luxury homes, so we'll do some of the waterfront properties there. Our market
Mm.
right now is still very low inventory.
Oh,
We're
okay.
still getting multiple offers on things, and prices have not decreased yet. So the housing market is actually still continuing to go up here. Um, eh, and then on houses that need work, those are sitting. I think because of the interest rates, the buyers having to come up with that money. The houses that do need work, are going, those aren't selling like they did during the pandemic times when anything sold.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Okay.
so I would say, I think if we start getting a little bit more inventory, we're going to see that changing. I'm also seeing the high end changing a little bit. So starting up at that higher end, that those are sitting on the market a little bit longer than what they had in the past.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Okay. All right. Victoria, this is the thing. You're selling luxury homes. That's what you specialize in, right? I have a question in regards to real estate agents in general, but maybe more specifically agents that are selling luxury homes. There's a lot of misconceptions just in general about agents. But are you aware of any misconceptions with agents in general, and or are you privy to any misconceptions with luxury agents? And how do you address those? Because I have a few in my mind. I just want to see if you can answer that question first off.
I would say probably the biggest misconception, and that's where I said before, is that people think it's an easy job. They think
Right.
it's something that they can just get into.
Hmm.
Um, and I can say with our transactions, I now take it as a compliment. I've heard it a couple times that it's not easy. She just makes it look easy.
Yeah.
And I hear
There
that
you go.
from the agents in the office too, where, it's really easy for her and people just call. And then I heard, another agent, which it was kind of nice that's, chirped in there and said, it's not easy. She makes it look easy. So
Hmm.
we're very proactive. The next thing, selling your home is the biggest investment of your life for most people. And, I just am so surprised at the number of people out there that would list a home with someone who just got licensed and, never sold a house before, maybe one or two, and putting that in their hands. To me, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Um, then with the upper end, I
Hmm.
think that the you need something different. So it's not your standard 1 to 200 range and where you take your photos and you do different marketing. If your agent's not doing video, then I really feel you're missing out. Video is where the internet was the thing, let's say 20 years ago. Now video is huge on getting that marketing out, being able to be found on the search engines, how you're going to showcase the home.
Mm.
So we do all kinds of different things with video. When we have our upper end homes, I'll meet the photographer there and do walkthroughs with them and highlight the home, putting our video together as well as our photos. And we also want to showcase the area around it. It's not just the house.
Right.
So
Okay.
adding to that video, drone footage of the parks, the shopping, the schools that are all around that. So you're really, showing the new buyer a way of living, not just a
Mm.
house.
That's interesting. That kind of led me right into my follow up question in regards to marketing these luxurious homes and properties and things of that nature. Obviously, like you just touched on, video content is king essentially, and I think we can pretty much agree on many and all platforms. Video is probably going to get you more engagement and things of that nature. Are you doing basic videos, just walking through the home? Like, describe what type of videos are we doing necessarily? You mentioned drone videos. What other kind of style videos are you doing
So what
exactly?
we've just started doing, and we're continuing to learn. So, like now, our videos for our upper end homes will he'll do some drone footage of the area and the location and different things.
Right.
And then I'll introduce the home and do highlights, and then he'll show different areas. And in those different areas, giving it that personal touch with being in the home, talking about it, and then he's going to go through and do parts, without me as well as the photos. Um,
Mm.
so we have
Okay.
found, I think YouTube is going to be the next Google. that I'm on YouTube, I live on YouTube,
There you
and
go.
that people are going to be searching on there and looking for things. So if you don't have a strong presence on there, I would say that you to get one as an agent, and really focus on those videos and getting that presence.
Have you
We
been
also
doing
do,
Oh, go
a
ahead,
lot
please.
of I was gonna say, we do a lot of target marketing. So,
Mm,
you know, before I used to just put it on Facebook and, let's say, LinkedIn or social media and different things, and you just posted it on your page or things like that. Where now we're really focused on target marketing through Google and or Facebook, and capturing that buyer that is going to be able to afford that house,
correct.
and that has shown an interest that this might be something that appeals to them.
That's a great point. That's a great perspective too, because I mean, you're obviously if you're selling luxury homes, everyone can't afford that. So you just can't do general advertisements. You do have to find a specific person or a specific demographic for that niche market. So I understand. I never thought about that at first. My question to you was: did you start off by doing luxury homes, or were you doing, I guess regular homes and then moved into luxury?
I did. When I first
Okay.
got in the business in 1999, I can remember like my first sale was around 60,000, and it was down in the South Toledo area. And so I was one that felt like I needed to start there, and then I moved up, to
Mm,
the 43614 zip code, and which was the next area of South Toledo. Then started to get into the suburbs, and then in '08 or '09, I decided I wanted to specialize in luxury homes. And then that's where I came up with Victoria's Luxury Home Team.
mm,
And we spent a lot of time putting together a group of agents with all the companies that we would tour homes, because that's when the market kind of hit bottom.
for
And
sure.
we had tons of inventory then and really no buyers. And so this group, we would tour each other's listings so we would know about it. I wanted to go to it then because I wanted to know if you came in and you were a high end buyer, that there wasn't a high end house that I hadn't been through. So it gave me that opportunity to see every house that was out there in the upper end, and to be with
Mm,
those upper end agents that were listing those houses and listening to their comments, and how they priced the home and what they thought of
mhm.
the home. So it made a huge difference for me. Then maybe right when COVID hit, so it'd be probably 19, I decided I wanted to take away Victoria's Luxury Home Team and change the name to Luxian Home Team.
Mhm.
That way my name was out of it, and you could work with anyone on the team and not feel like you weren't working with me.
Got
We
you.
came up with the name, because of luxury and vision, and we
Mm,
put the two
okay.
words together, and that's how we have Luxian Home Team.
Nice.
And we saw it as it's our vision for our marketing. It's a step above. It's our vision in giving back to the community.
Mm,
It's our vision for our team being the number one. It's our vision for charity. So there were so many aspects of it that I could see vision and then keeping the luxury. And then in the meantime, which I didn't know, there is a definite Luxian is actually a word, even though we
yeah.
didn't know that when we put it together. We thought we made up the word.
Mhm.
Um, and I forget exactly what that definition was, but it was something like, a child of God, maybe.
I've heard the word too. That's interesting that you say that. We're live. We're doing this live on the closing table. I'm googling it right now. Luxian definition. Definition. I'm just curious. I'm sorry. I have to do this. Luxian is okay. It's giving me a bunch of different things. Oh, God's little caring child. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at you. Look at that. Yeah. That's beautiful.
I should
So
write that down so I remember it. But that was
yeah.
up to me and said, "Do you? do you know what that?" And I was like, "No, we just made up a word and put two things together." And she was like,
Yeah,
"Wow." She's like, "How
yeah.
appropriate." And I took that as a huge compliment.
I was just gonna say that it still ties together. You can still make sense of it. So that's beautiful marketing, beautiful story behind that too. You got into it. You said you basically made that switch into luxury properties during a very interesting time, 2008, 2009. This is when, if most people don't realize, when we had this housing crisis, like you mentioned before. So with that being said, I mean, I know you were just starting off then, but from then to now, how are you changing your marketing strategy, if at all, when we're dealing with economic uncertainty and recessions, and you're selling these luxury properties? What is your tactic? How are you overcoming those hurdles?
That, I'm gonna guess, I forget, I have the stat, but when you get up into that higher price point, about 700 on up, it's 40 to 50% of those buyers are cash buyers in our market area.
Whoa.
Um, and so one, then what I'm doing is giving them elevated service, that is not your typical, and then also looking at it as what's most important to them. Price is important in what they're paying, but value is important. So
For
what can I take
sure.
off the table that is stressful, that takes their time so they can spend more time with their family?
Mhm.
And I have a team that we can collaborate together to find out what's important to you, and now we're almost like your concierge. Do you need, so we'll help you with all of the contractors. We could take over the whole job for you. So there's so many different things where we jump in and just take over those things, which
Mm.
you're not going to find with your average agent. So, and I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't have a team. There wouldn't be enough time in the day. So the amount of that Angie, my transaction manager, puts into orchestrating, people coming in and out, and us finding light fixtures and paint colors and carpet and getting the people to do it, is one of the jobs that she spends a lot of time that people
Yeah.
just don't think about.
For sure, for sure. You really blew my mind when you mentioned that these $700,000 homes, people are, you said 50% are spending cash?
That is correct.
What? Oh my god. I'm in the wrong profession, ladies and gentlemen. What do you do for a living? That's what you really want to add. What do you do? That is crazy. Okay. Wow, let me calm down. All right. So, Victoria, we talked about scouting neighborhoods, which is a very important factor when choosing your property. Let's talk about long-term investing in that and finding out, how do you know if this type of home in this location is going to provide me with the best long-term return on my investment?
So location is key, and
Correct.
the school district is super important. And so even if you don't have kids in school, anyone here that comes, always search not by city, but I search by school district, and then I look at different things there.
Hmm.
So if you're in a good school district, then it's going to hold its value, and and you're going to see that appreciation. Finding ones that like are on the river or different things like that, that's always going to be desirable,
Okay.
like water.
Right. Hmm.
And then your easy access or the homes in the neighborhood, if you're on the lower end in comparison. But I would say the biggest thing is the school district.
Really, 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 really. Hmm. It makes sense. I mean, wow.
Well,
I would. I don't. I don't know.
and so
That's
like
interesting.
that's one thing to consider too when they want to pass a levy, that even though you don't have kids in the school and you vote it down, that keeping in mind how that school does will affect the value of your home. So
That's a good
not
point.
saying to vote for or against, but just because your kids aren't in, or just thinking, it will affect the value of your home.
That's a great point now that I think about it. Me being from the Detroit area, I've seen schools shut down and I've seen the effect it's had on the neighborhood. So now that you say that, and I can actually put it to some experience, I'm like, I guess that really, really makes sense. I mean, it would. The only other thing I was thinking about would be a business, right? If there's a certain business in that area, I guess that would kind of make it a good long term investment, or would you say the school would have more weight than a business in that area?
The school will have more weight.
Really? Okay, now we're learning. Okay, all right. Thank you. All right, great, great. So keep it into neighborhoods. Are there certain neighborhoods or areas where home prices are appreciating more than others in your market?
Um, I would say we kind of see a change. So our four biggest school districts are Ottawa Hills, Anthony Wayne, Perrysburg, and Sylvania.
Okay,
Ottawa Hills, by far, is the best school district in our area, and I think it might be rated number one in the state of Ohio.
nice.
They're mostly older homes. You're going to find some a little bit newer, and then possibly some new that built on on extra land. But it's a most of the time a different buyer there too, because in the other three school districts, they have a lot of new subdivisions where you're not going to find a new subdivision. Ottawa Hills is located right in the center of town.
Okay.
Um, and then those three are very comparable. One might be a little bit better than the other one year or at a different time, but all in all, their ratings from the state are pretty much the same. And their appreciation is pretty much the same. That although one might be a little bit better than another on one year, then
Mhm.
the next year you kind of see that change.
Right,
So
right.
I would say they're pretty comparable. Your
Oh,
biggest bang for the dollar is going to be Anthony Wayne by far. Because of those excellent schools, they have a lower millage rate. There's no school levy tax, there's no city income tax.
oh.
So if you looked at what it costs to buy a house in Anthony Wayne as what it costs to buy a house in Sylvania, you could probably, I forget, I've done the math on some around 500,000, but it's been a while. When the interest rate was so low, it made even a bigger difference. So, but let's say at that point you could spend $50,000 more in Anthony Wayne than Sylvania and have the same house payment. It won't be quite that now because interest rates have went up. So when the interest rates were really low and you looked at what you saved in taxes, it took
Mhm.
a lot of dollars to make that up.
Right, right. Oh wow. Yeah, that Ohio market is a little bit different. I mean, there's probably the same thing going on in different markets across the country with, surrounding areas and things like that. But I don't know. I guess I expected certain areas to really be appreciated more than others. You kind of did break it down, but I get it. I get it. Wow, it's a little bit surprising to see that it's kind of not as effective or affected as I would think. That's just me thinking out loud. You hold a couple certifications, Victoria, certified residential specialist, certified luxury home marketing specialist, which also, explains why you know so much about marketing when it comes to that. What about these designations do you feel like benefit your client? And what advantages do they provide in the real estate market for you?
Okay, so the certified residential specialist is the highest designation a realtor can hold. So the top 5% of the realtors are CRSs or certified residential specialists.
Hmm.
I would say when I first got into the business, that was huge. It is still super important. It lets you know that someone takes this as a career, that they want to get as much education as they possibly can. The luxury home specialist is also super important just because it's continuing education of being on
Right,
top of the
right.
market, knowing
Hmm.
what's important. And from that of here's someone who takes her job seriously and wants to go out and educate themselves and get as much knowledge as they can. So I see it from that standpoint of just showing that you care about the knowledge and you care about making sure you're giving the best service that's out there.
Right, right. I see it as a badge coming from a client's perspective. I see it as somewhat of a badge of, like you said, certification, authority that just show that you actually take this profession a little bit serious. Although it's not required, correct?
That is correct.
It's not required. You're taking that additional steps for continued education. Gotta respect
Let's
that.
say like an accountant or a CPA. One
Mm,
one is designated and one is not. So if
great
you
point.
looked at it from that standpoint, that they could both be very good accountants, but one's a CPA and one is not.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Okay. In your experience, what are some of the most sought after features in some of these luxurious homes? I'm interested to hear this.
The outdoor space is one of the biggest things that I'm finding that's appealing. Where they used to say pools wouldn't bring you any more money, they
Uh-huh.
do now, ever since COVID. People are looking for houses to be able to put a pool in, or if a pool's in there. But the outdoor space with the built in kitchens, and just being able to spend time out there
Hmm.
is one thing that is appealing. It helps it sell faster, and definitely, you're going to see your money, your return on that outside space. The other main rooms are your kitchen and
Hmm.
your master bath, which has
Oh
always
yeah.
been, and how those are. Well, they want nice kitchens and nice master baths.
I want to make sure I didn't mishear this. Did you say outside with the built-in kitchen?
Correct.
Like as in there's a kitchen outside?
Yes.
I know I didn't hear that. Wait, what? They're doing that now? Wait, I gotta get some more money. I didn't know they were doing that. Wow. Okay. Whole kitchens outside now.
Well,
That
it's gonna
sounds
be like your
luxurious.
grill area and your sink and your refrigerator. So,
Outside. Wow. All right then. Things to aspire to get. Before we get out of here, Victoria, is there a book, a quote, a movie, philosophy, any other type of content that you feel helped you, motivate you, inspire you, or help pivot you into a more successful path in your career that you want to share?
I do a lot of reading and a lot of audible books, and so I have so many favorites. If I went back to early on, I would say it was The Secret. Um,
Mm,
then
mm.
I would say Think and Grow Rich. I spent a lot of time, studying that.
Yep.
Now, some of my favorites are The Slight Edge. I've
Okay.
often have went to just doing one small thing and not changing my life, not making it, but just doing little things. And then the others, like Crucial Conversations, The Positive No. But I could go on and on with,
I
but
love it. Yeah, I
I would
love it.
say,
Yeah.
but probably the or oh, Never Split the Difference has been a great one for negotiating, and and Dare to Lead is another one that's really good.
Dare to lead.
Yes,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
with the thinking Think and Grow Rich, he's got one, Outwitting the Devil, and that is like the one thing that they didn't tell you, and the book didn't come out till a lot later, and it was after he was had passed away, and then after his wife had passed away and the kids had pulled it out. I just
Really?
read that one, so if anyone likes that, Outwitting the Devil
Mm.
is, I'm sure that they will love it.
Nice, nice. Thank you for providing that. That leaves us with something to think about and everything like that. We appreciate you, Victoria, for dropping some gems, teaching us some things, and giving us the game right here at the closing table before we leave. If you have any last words and or want to tell the people how they can reach out to you, please do so now.
You can reach out to me either by text, website, phone at 419-460-5587. You can go to luxianhomes.com or Victoria at luxianhomes.com.
There it is. There it is. Thank you so much, Victoria, pulling up a chair here at the closing table, sitting here with us today. And for our YouTube audience watching right now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, you have got to do this. Hit that like button for us, please. And thank you. Make sure you also share the content and subscribe to our channel. And if you are listening on Apple, Spotify, or any other podcast platforms, you got to do the same. Give us a like, a 5-star rating, and subscribe for our latest content. Victoria, I always leave our audience with a question to think about before we get out of here. The question today, ladies and gentlemen, what are some of the most unique or creative financing options you've heard of in the real estate industry? Don't talk about it. Drop the comments below. Besides that, I'll talk to you next time.